There are 2,308 homes scheduled to be auctioned this week. That's up 39% on the same week last year. New South Wales will hold 744 auctions with about 600 in Sydney. Victoria will hold 940 auctions with most of them in Melbourne. Queensland will hold about 400 auctions with roughly half of them in Brisbane. South Australia will hold 181 auctions with most of them in Adelaide. Western Australia, Tasmania and the NT will hold 13 auctions between them, and the ACT will hold 51 auctions. Take a look at the most viewed properties going to auction this weekend, and in New South Wales it's 30A Charles Place, Janelli. This three-bedder is close to the train station. Asking price is about $1.2 million. Top property in Victoria is 22 Charming Street, Hampton East. This 5-bedroom home is from the last year's season of the TV show The Block. Asking price is $3 million. The top property in Queensland is 8 Renford Court, Ormo. This acreage is halfway between Brisbane and the Gold Coast. It's a 4-bedder with a huge pool and spot for 10 cars. The top property in South Australia is 20 Harcourt Road, Payneham. This classic 3-bedroom sandstone cottage in Adelaide has an asking price of about $879,000. And the top property in Canberra is 8 Cooling Place, Florrie. This modern 4-bedder has huge internal living areas plus a pool and basketball hoop. And the most viewed property on the REA Group website this week is 39 Rochester Street, Leabrook, South Australia. This estate is being sold on behalf of the late Elizabeth Bardi Penfold Simpson, the 5th generation Penfolds wine heir. The historic home's bordered by 2 other houses which are being sold separately. The main house, which was built in the 1890s, sits on about 6,500 square metres, just 6 kilometres from the Adelaide CBD. It features 5 bedrooms, formal living areas, large fireplaces, a huge reception, casual meal areas and a country-style kitchen. There's also a separate caretaker's residence, an outdoor dining pavilion, landscape gardens, salt-chlorinated pool and tennis court. Agents are taking expressions of interest until May the 15th. For more on property, I caught up with Paul Ryan from REA Group a little earlier.
Yeah, generally there's a bit of a slowdown after the Easter long weekend. So 2,300 auctions is not a huge number, but it's 39% more than we had at the same time last year.
And when are things going to slow down as we get into winter? Because 2,300, it's not much, but it still seems like a fair bit.
Yeah, we have been surprised by market activity so far this year, and that surprise is continuing. Like some of this, you could think, hey, people are trying to auction this weekend to avoid the Anzac Day public holiday next week. We've got even more auctions scheduled next weekend, 2,500. So it's looking like this strong batch of activity is going to continue longer than normal.
And just talking auctions, what are clearance rates doing at the moment? How are they holding up?
Pretty well. So despite the increase in auction numbers, we've seen auction clearance rates stay steady at above 60% for both Sydney and Melbourne. That's pretty solid, and that's been consistent with the pretty consistent price growth we've continued to see throughout 2024.
Past sort of, I'd say, month and a half, 2 months, we've seen a fair bit of stock for sale. Has that done anything to prices, giving buyers more choice?
So we've seen listings have been quite strong, but the amount of stock on the market has been absorbed by buyers pretty consistently. So actually we've got less stock on the market nationally, about 1% less than we had this time last year. So while there's been more listings, there's been buyers there willing to pick up the stock.
Are there any parts of Australia that are doing, better than others right now?
Oh, we keep seeing market activity in Perth and Adelaide and Brisbane be unusually strong. Prices in Perth are up almost 20% over the past 12 months. That property market is continuing to boom. But we're seeing price growth really almost everywhere except really Hobart. Melbourne's up 2% over the past year, Sydney up 8% over the past year. These are all generally a bit above average. So despite continued higher interest rates, prices are still growing quite strongly.
Yeah, just on rates, it looks like rates may stay higher for longer this year, but it's not really dampening the market, is it?
No, I think buyers are getting a lot of comfort from the fact that although rates may be higher for longer, they're not going to increase any further. So buyers are a bit more aggressive with whatever borrowing capacities they do have, and knowing that there hopefully will be some rate relief somewhere around the corner. Maybe not late this year, as some were expecting, but it will be at some stage.
And do you think there are potential buyers there that might be waiting until rates go down before getting into the market as well? Or?
Yeah, absolutely. I think there's a lot of buyers out there who are constrained constrained by borrowing capacities at the current level of rates. They can't borrow the amount they need to get to the home they want, and it won't be until rates fall that will unlock the borrowing capacities that they need to jump in the market. So even though people are anticipating rate falls, I think any rate falls will still have a stimulatory impact on the market.
And just looking broadly, the construction sector, how's it going building lots more homes that we need across the country right now?
The building sector is definitely struggling with insolvencies, with difficulty getting trades, difficulty getting supply. Still, data from the ABS showed that across Australia we built just 170,000 dwellings over the past year. That is well short of the 240,000 homes we need to build to hit the National Cabinet goal of 1.2 million homes in 5 years.
Yeah, does that kick off on the 1st of July, that target? Is that right?
Yes. And so at the moment we need to increase building rates by 40% to hit that. So really what it is it's higher density, it's apartments and townhouses that are really lagging. And all we would have to do really to hit this target is get that higher density construction back to the levels we were seeing in only 2017, 2018. But somewhere like New South Wales are forecast to be about 20,000 dwellings short over 2024 of that rate. So we can build that many homes, but we just haven't over the past few years.
Paul Ryan from REA Group, thanks for coming on the show.
Thank you very much.